Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Good Friday morning to you. Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Friday. Appreciate you being here. We are built every day by RMB Builders, and our phone line is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. We're going to talk to Nathan Velasquez coming up in the second hour, as it is spring football game weekend. Who's fired up? Who's ready?
Woo.
All right. Not everybody at once.
Fun.
Well,
I think
you're
that's
going,
intentional from LSU football. They would probably be excited to hear
Lloyd. That we're not
reaction.
excited?
Yeah, I don't think they want anybody to know about
Why
it.
would they?
Why would they?
Why would they want anybody to know? I wouldn't want anybody watching my team in the spring. I wouldn't want any other teams like watching my players and seeing like my secrets that I had in the spring.
That
A
mean,
little-
you got a good team.
A little paranoia
know.
from Katie. A little
Right?
coach's
Are
paranoia.
you a
Well,
coach?
it
You have
is
a coach
good
in your
team,
bloodline
so
somewhere?
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uncle?
I don't know. Am I the only one that feels like that?
No. Obviously, Brian Kelly feels like that. I think that is the intent of this weekend, is to kind of keep this game under wraps, as they don't want anybody to see what they've installed. And I think that they've got some competition and some guys out, obviously, that they don't want people to know about. But for the most part, I think that the spring game is going to be very relaxed, very laid back, and first things first, stay healthy. Don't get anybody hurt tomorrow, man. Tomorrow would be a terrible day to get anybody injured.
About
So
to get
if
him
it's free general admission, you can really sit anywhere.
anywhere.
Right?
Yeah.
What's
Is
the
that
weather
how
gonna
you're
be
sitting
like?
in the class?
That's what I was about to ask you. I think they're probably hoping it looks like this tomorrow, and they're like, "Call it."
No, it's going to be
You know
clear
what?
tomorrow.
We're
We're
gonna
moving
take
it
this thing inside.
Nobody's coming in.
Not set up for television.
That's
Don't
what
have
I-
any bleachers.
That's what I was gonna say. They're about to hit us with a little message like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
This is
little
perfect
rain,
scenario
you know,
for
we
The
gotta-
old
we gotta
school,
back it out."
the old school Coach O.
Yeah,
It's like 30 minutes before practice. It's canceled. No media availability. It's like, bro, we're on the way over there.
But
We're
people
already
are going to
here.
want to go. Like, if it's free, you can sit anywhere. They're giving out free
Oh, but-
posters, roster
Yeah.
cards.
How many
like-
people do you think go?
I would say on a free general. I mean, what are we talking about? What's the weather like?
It's
No, I'm
gonna
saying
be
on a
cool
perfect
and
day.
On a
clear.
perfect day,
It's going to be kind of a perfect day.
I would say somewhere around 12,000,
yeah.
10,000.
It still seems like a lot. Because like when you go in there, just because of the magnitude and like
Yeah.
like how
I mean,
big.
I've seen them try to capitalize this off of like a home baseball game weekend, where you've got like the game at 6, the baseball game at 6, and you play the spring game at 2.
That's what they do in Starkville.
You know,
It's called
yeah,
Super
right.
Bulldog Weekend.
Super
and
dog.
That was
there's
last
been
weekend.
many a weekends, this particular weekend where LSU's tried to really promote it,
Yeah.
capitalize off of it, brought in live music and bounce houses for kids and all types of food and entertainment. But in this particular year, you get the feeling like they don't want anybody to know about it. They don't want anybody to show up, and they definitely don't want it on TV.
Yeah. But it is
And-
going to be on TV, right?
Well, it has to be.
Yeah.
You know,
Is it
that's-
SEC Network?
That's the only
Plus,
reason
okay.
why
This is happening.
this is happening.
Yeah.
Is because contractually, you got to do it.
We're
Yeah,
obligated.
I
You
know.
want to collect that check
I
at
don't
the
like
spring
it.
meetings? You know, I mean, you want
Yeah.
to walk around with that $40 million check. You know, I mean, that's a lot of that's Brian Kelly's salary is
Mm-hmm.
in that. You know, I mean, that's you got to do these types of things. So, you just I don't know how much we will see if you're going and showing up tomorrow with the intent to learn about what LSU is going to look like next year, outside of seeing new faces, outside of seeing guys that may be wearing new numbers or guys that are in specific competitions. You're not going to learn much. I mean, you're just not going to learn anything because LSU is not trying to show anything.
Well,
They-
last year was different, right? Because
it was
nobody knew who the
different.
quarterback was going to be.
Well,
so
I
everybody's
mean, not
freaking
only
out.
that, Kelly was also, it was his first year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and anytime you're anywhere for the first, you want to kind of put your best foot forward, right? Like you kind of want to open your arms and kind of show that, I mean, you're welcoming and you're grateful to be here and all of that stuff. He did phenomenally. And then he went out and won the SEC West. And he figured out that, all right, now I'm the LSU head football coach. Close up those practices, and the spring game's going to be very vanilla. You know, like, I mean,
Y'all trust me?
yeah, right, exactly. I mean, like, everybody's on board now. Everybody gets it, and now it's time to coach the program. And, I mean, I understand all that.
Yeah,
You know,
me
I mean,
too.
I get all that. I mean, and like we were talking about yesterday with Chris Blair, they know they're good. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, they know they have a team that people are curious about, that a lot of people are going to be looking at, that people are going to, Florida State is going to be watching tomorrow's game as if it's LSU, Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're going to be breaking that thing down. They want to find out just some of the new rotations of offensive linemen, or some of these new defensive linemen that LSU has in. For as much as we've talked about guys that have been out of spring, it's been a big month for a lot of guys as well. I mean, Omar Spates, who came in from Oregon State. Brian Kelly has raved about him and how beneficial it's been to have him on campus and going through his role on the defense, calling the plays, going through communicating with Matt House, and how beneficial that'll be for him playing alongside that linebacker group in the fall. Even a guy like Harold Perkins. I mean, this spring is going to be very beneficial for even a player to his magnitude. And I love the way that they used this time with Perkins to teach him more about being a football player, because Perkins is just this, he's this freak where you drop him on the field and no matter where he lands, he's going to be the best athlete, right? I firmly believe that you could turn and toss him the ball at running back and he would outrun the majority of SEC defenses every Saturday. Kick him the ball and he'll catch a punt or a kickoff and he'll probably run by everybody. I mean, you put him at linebacker and nobody can get away from him. But if you teach him the technical aspects of being a football player, how to get off of a block, how to not get caught up in the wash, how to play in space with in pass coverage, and doing that technically sound rather than relying on this just God-given freak ability to be stronger, faster, and bigger than everybody. or not necessarily bigger, just stronger and faster than everybody.
Just instinctually. Like
Right.
that's what it seems like it is. He didn't know what he didn't know last year, and he was still able to go out and probably be the best player on the defense strictly off of his instincts, which is what I think almost enamors everyone because you can't quantify that. There's no way to be like, he's good because of this. Like, sure, we all know about his speed. We all know about, like, his athleticism. But then he's always around. And he doesn't know. There's no way he's been in the game long enough to know, like, okay, I'm watching film and I know. It's not like Luke Kuechly, who studies film and he knows the play. And he's bumping people around and saying, they're going here because of this formation. Perks out there, he just sees the ball or, like, has an instinctual feel. All right, I think this is what they're doing, and he goes. And it works.
Like that.
And whenever you can marry that instinct with actual, hey, this is what you're looking at in this set, this is what they usually do, that becomes one of the top players in the country on defense. And you have something that you can fall back on and rely on as opposed to just being out there. And like you saw against Tennessee where he almost gets lost because I have no idea what's going on. Like the game's moving 100 miles an hour now because of their play style. I'm not ready to be out here for this. Like I'm not put in a position to succeed, but if you line up against a team like Arkansas that's playing their backup quarterback where they want to turn it into a track meet, let me eat because I can play this kind of game. This is in the backyard, and that's where he succeeded. That's where he excelled. But if you can get him with an Omar Spates who's like teaching him the position with the linebackers coach like Matt House, who obviously is a defensive coordinator but specializes in linebacker play, then they add a linebackers coach, he's going to get all of the knowledge that you could ever want, and then you'll probably see Perk 2.0 this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Duck Hunter 94. Jordy, have you ever seen a player as good as Perkins as far as raw talent goes? I would think Tyrann Mathieu. I think Tyrann Mathieu, the jump he made from his freshman to sophomore year as far as becoming like we talked about with Perkins, he was like a technical player his sophomore year more than he was his freshman year. But his freshman year, if you remember him, he was making plays similarly to what Perkins was doing. He was just doing these wow types of things. And he was doing it from the first time you saw him. Matthew's first game against North Carolina, I guess that was 2010 in Atlanta. In the first half, he had 2 sack fumbles on T.J. Yates. He had knocked the ball out of the. People were like, "Who in the hell is 14?"
Because everybody was talking about Patrick,
right? Patrick Peterson was the best DB in America. I think. He had 2 punt returns that day.
One for sure for a touchdown.
You'd have to have Deion Sanders out there to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's what the announcer said. Yeah,
that's right.
That's when the Heisman campaign started.
But just this. Matthew was so raw. He was just like the next week versus Mississippi State, he was making like strip picks and he was sack fumbles. It was just good God.
And it kept escalating.
Right. It was Perkins is kind of like that.
He is.
Perkins is just this raw freak, right? Where you're just like, my God.
Did he play other sports? Track probably.
Who? Tyrann Mathieu?
No, Harold Perkins.
I don't know if
I would imagine so. I don't
think he
know
did
that
run
for
track.
sure.
I don't think he did.
Oh, really?
Sure.
I
I figured he
was.
would have run track.
Andrew Messina says Devin White was raw. Devin White was extremely raw.
Yes,
Devin White was extreme. I remember Frank Wilson talking about the first time he saw Devin White, and it was, just like this cat has no idea how great he is going to be. Just like Devin White was just like his stuff, his highlights at like 14, 15 years old is, it's scary how good he is.
Kendall Beckwith?
I would say Devin White's a little bit more impressive, but Beckwith was so. When you're talking about those two,
I'm just talking about raw
athletes. Beckwith was a raw athlete, but he was more like he played quarterback for East Feliciana. He was. Charles. I still tell the story of Charles Hannegriff and I asked Charles Hannegriff to fill in for somebody for Derek Panamsky on a radio call. And we were doing high school football, and we were doing a game a week, and we were doing like a
high school game of the week.
A high school game of the week on the radio. And week 2, East Feliciana went to Zachary, and this is when Neil Weiner was at Zachary, and actually Boston Scott, who now plays for Philly, plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, was Zachary's like best player, and Kendall Beckwith was the quarterback, and he was the linebacker, the quarterback, punted, returned punts, kicked off, and he came out of the game for one play in overtime, and they ran right to that spot, and they got beat by 1 point. But I'm telling you, he threw like 5 touchdowns. He had 16 tackles. He had a punt return like down like the 2-yard line. Then quarterback snuck it in. I mean, Hannegriff was like, who in the hell is this kid? Like, you know, he at this point in Hannegriff's career, he wasn't keeping up with recruiting. He wasn't like, I was like, Charlie, I mean, like everybody in America is like, you think? I mean, like.
That's when you grab the headset like,
yeah, it's like who? I mean, he could not get over. He couldn't get over. I mean, he did everything. I mean, it was Kendall Beckwith was like that. Devin White was like that. Matthew was like that. Harold Perkins is in that class. I mean, Harold Perkins might be the best of that bunch. I mean, I hate to get caught in the moment because there's been guys that have come through here, right? I mean, that just were better than everybody. You know, I mean, the first time you saw Chad Jones, you were like, oh, okay. I mean, like, I get it now. You know what I mean? That's just they don't look like everybody. You know, even like when you see Patrick Peterson for the first time. You're like,
oh my God! If you would have told like pick like his how much eligibility he has left his freshman year, but like that's a junior. He walked out in the uniform. You're like, oh my God,
right?
This guy just was in high school last year. I mean, like, there's just some of those cats when they put the pads on. You're like, that's what it's supposed to look like. You look like you're made in the lab. Like
he looks like
a mad creative player.
Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, his
all uniforms.
Dave Aranda speaking about Derek Stingley Jr. during the
Fiesta
Bowl practice. I'm telling you, could be. You would have to hear it to believe it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, even like off the record. He was telling you stuff on the record where you were like, I mean, he was like, I was telling Coach O, he'd be the best defensive back on our team today. Like, right now, he'd be DB1. I mean, like.
Put him on the best receiver right now.
The first play of practice, when Stingley steps out there, like, he is literally supposed to be in high
high school.
Still supposed to be in high school. And he's practicing with LSU. He lines up over Justin Jefferson, and Joe Burrow takes a 2-step drop and goes right at him. And Stingley, like, bats the ball down. and even Burrow is like,
okay.
Burrow says that he's the best true freshman I've ever laid my eyes on. He's the best true freshman I've ever seen in my life. And I still think that we lose sight on how good Stingley was his freshman year. And what happened to him his sophomore and junior year, look, man, it tarnishes really a freshman season that should be remembered as one of the best of all time, including Harold Perkins, including Tyrann Mathieu, including all of them that who've come through here and starred during their opening year. I mean, what Stingley accomplished on that team, being that age, is something that we will never see again. We will never see he was 17 at the time.
Yeah, that's wild.
Jeez.
I mean, really, he didn't turn 18 until after that year.
That's so dramatic, the whole thing.
Just
so many other people were like, he's terrible. I mean, remember, it was like they were just railing on him all the time. Y'all think he's so good? He's nothing. Like,
so
everybody
good.
was just
LSU.
The next 2 years was just.
This is hard for him.
It was just
Yeah,
tough.
it was rough.
I mean, it was tough.
really rough.
It was tough.
I mean, his freshman year, he had 38 tackles, 21 pass breakups, and 6 picks. And then.
But you have to understand too. There was weeks where teams didn't look at him.
No.
Like there was teams that got the memo that were like, "Yo, we're not picking on the freshman." But then there was teams like Florida and Auburn that would go at him, and he proved his greatness in those games. Like Auburn, if you remember, he fumbled a punt early. 2 plays later,
right before half.
2 plays later, they go right at him down the field. He picks it, makes a like ballerina type move to keep his feet in bounds, and gets the ball back. Florida is probably, and I don't mean worst by bad. just his freshman season was so good. That was probably, when you look at the stats and all of it kind of compiled, that was probably his worst game. But still, if you watch the film at the end, when they're going at him in their pick, because there's a sequence in that game where they are relentlessly going at him. And it's like with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I mean, they're lining up a top 5 talent over a true freshman, and they're just saying, look, that's a kid. This is a man.
Right. 17 versus 22.
I mean, like, this is 22 years old versus 17. It doesn't matter what he looks like physically, because he still looked like
Adonis.
NFL. I mean, but, you can't. That's your
Can't
dad.
teach that.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just those days you just can't beat him up. I mean, that was what that was like. But in the fourth quarter, who makes the game-sealing interception in the end zone? I mean, to be that young, to go through a night where you have to imagine Stingley never had that happen to him in his life. I mean, at the Dunham School, they looked at him as an 8th grader and said, go play defensive back on the varsity team. On his first series as an 8th grader, he picked off a pass in a varsity game. I mean, like, his jersey's down to here. It's going past his elbow. like it is one of the funniest. It's one of the funniest clips you'll ever see. I mean, it's like, this kid can't be out there, and then he breaks on the ball and makes the play. I mean, it's amazing. That's the type of raw talent you're talking about. And I don't mean to get off on a Stingley, but I mean, we've seen great
athletes, raw talent.
Right. We've just seen great
Early.
athletes come through here. And, I mean, to have Perkins in that class, I mean, he's one of the elite for sure. I mean,
he's proving it over
he's
and
one
over
and
again.
now you're teaching somebody like exactly what happened with, Stingley's a little bit of an outlier because he came in with technique. Like, I remember Corey Raymond and, Dave Aranda, kind of saying, like, not only is he the best athlete on the team, like, he's without question the most technically savvy defensive back they've ever coached in college football. Like, not as a freshman. They were like, this cat's teaching Greedy Williams hand technique. You know what I mean? Like, he was kind of brought up in a lab, right? He's kind of like a little bit of an outlier. But, I mean, now you're teaching Perkins to play like that. You're giving Perkins, I mean, that's where, like, I believe that those types of players' confidence really goes to the next level. Like, when you teach a player like Tyrann Mathieu to what to look for, like, keys, and you see, like, in the film room, like, oh, this guy's a wizard when he looks at football. I mean, like, he sees it completely different than the rest of the room. Like, he's able to see things almost 2 steps ahead of everyone else. That was one of the things that people realized early on from Mathieu. Even his teammates, like Patrick Peterson, will say, I learned things from Mathieu by watching film with him. And when coaches recognized that, they were like, all right, well, look, man, when you see this on the field, they're going to start running this. And, I mean, that's who Tyrann Mathieu, I mean, he's 11 years as an NFL vet because he's instinctively one of the best that ever has played the game. Now you're giving the skill set to a guy like Harold Perkins who has that similar. Like, if there was anything that's comparable to any of those guys that have come through here, I would say it would be Harold Perkins and Tyrann Mathieu's instincts. Like, instinctively, they're just kind of like natural football players, right? Where Mathieu would probably be a great offensive player. I don't know where you would put him, but you could put him anywhere, and it feels like he would be phenomenal. He doesn't feel like a safety, you know what I mean? But he's a all-pro Hall of Famer, arguably.
And you don't want to coach that out of them, though.
Hell
you can
no.
you can over you
And I think that's why you take 15 practices where you're like, hey, Harold, we can put you in space and you're going to be an All-American. Let me teach you in the middle how to, like, get off of these guys, like, get the hands off of you, play in space. If Tennessee ever happens again, if they ever just line up and they're like, just run downhill at him, this is how you defense that. This is how you combat that, right? So we don't have to take you off the field in a situation like that. We can keep you on, and this is how you would be effective. You may not have the stat line. You may not have the sacks. You may not have the game-changing plays, but you're sucking up attention and you're not getting, rolled over and you're allowing Spates to make the play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is good football. You know what I mean? That's just kind of one Saturday you don't hear Tyrann Mathieu' name every play. Well, he's still doing his job, right? And I think
we talk about that Tyrann clip all the time for the Kansas City Chiefs when he gets rolled up by the offensive line.
Exactly.
And he's like,
it's a great,
tackle for loss.
It's a great that should be the opening clip of Tyrann Mathieu's Hall of Fame induction. Is a pulling tackle who is 6'7", over 300 pounds, running full speed downhill at somebody who is legitimately my size, 5'9", 180 pounds, on the same field doing the same thing, and the crunch of it sounds as if it's a mosquito on a windshield of a
the
truck.
car wreck.
Right? And Mathieu gets up and claps in this dude's face and lets him know he did his job and stopped the play. And the guy like pats Mathieu on the head like, you got me.
Yeah,
you know
I did my job, you did yours.
Yeah, right. Like you're right. I mean, it's
he goes back to the line and goes, "Oh, big boy, got my ass."
Right. But I mean, that's
you got to do it.
Tyrann Mathieu is. You know, I mean, that's who I believe Harold Perkins could be. You know, I mean, Harold Perkins could look up, be 10, 11 years in the NFL, and still be the smartest dude on the field.
Where do you come from? High school?
Texas.
What
he
size
came from a
school was it?
It was a big school. It wasn't small, but I don't think it was 6A. Stu, you might want to check me on that.
Cypress, Texas.
It was Cypress Heights, Texas, I believe was the name of the
Side Park.
Okay. Wasn't that kind of the argument people had about Stingley, is that he came from Dunham, so it was really easy to be the best
what happened?
there?
Yeah, but everybody
2A.
shut up when they put him on that 7-on-7.
That was it.
They put him on that summer tour.
Yeah.
And he,
Not
and
that he wasn't good,
They actually,
but he only
they
played
actually
the
put him
summer?
at wide receiver.
You talking about the summer before?
His junior year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when everybody's like, he doesn't play anybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't play. Well, I mean, who do they play?
I mean, that is a good
and they were
argument.
like, all right, sweet. All right. Well, put him on the, what was it? Was it the Bootleggers?
Wasn't Ryan Clark the
Yeah,
coach
right.
at
They
that?
had like this all-star coaching staff.
RC
dude.
was like, you
and
know
he went
what?
wide
We're
receiver and
receiver.
DB, and he was like taking it off of the head of
Like
old boy
5
from the
stars.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Georgia's wide receiver.
Oh, Pickens?
George Pickens. He was locking Pickens down. Pickens was trying to guard him. He was taking it off of his head.
And yeah, Ronnie Clark said
He was toying with people.
he put him at wide receiver 6 times. He scored 6 touchdowns. And he's
And
like,
it
that's
wasn't-
enough.
It wasn't-
Yeah.
And it was like, we need to win. Put him out there. Throw it up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, whenever we need a play, like, somebody's coming off because Sting's going in.
And Ryan Clark got on the media tour. Stingley got on the media. They were like, I thought y'all said he doesn't play anybody. Anybody else y'all want to put in front of him? Everybody was like, all right, Stingley's the number 1 player in the country.
Yeah. Spark rating through the roof.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead and
He
book it.
jumps 40, runs 4.3, broad jumps 21. I mean, it's just like, good Lord.
I would love to have seen him do the combine like at 100%, just to see what numbers he'd have put up.
Well, I think his pro day.
Yeah.
Me and Stu were there that day. He
Yeah,
ran
I
that
mean,
4.3,
Coach,
bro. He was,
the room
he
was like
moving.
Yeah, but that was an easy 4-3.
He was moving.
Like, if he had to prove something, I'd love to see him put it. I've never seen him run as fast as he can. Like, that he's never had to, but I thought that he was, which is silly expectations to put on him, but I was thinking, like, 44-inch vert, 4.25, 4.28, and just, like, easy. Because when we watched him run the 40, what was it, 4.3, 4.4, something like that?
4.38.
And it was an easy 4.38. Like, he was
cruising.
the way he slowed down at the end was just like, oh, God, he has more in the tank.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
It's always looked like he has.
Yeah, that's the highest compliment you could play. Like, you could give somebody. It's like, it doesn't look like this man's trying out here, and
How's
he's the
he
best player
doing?
on the field.
Cypress Park Tiger, 6A.
You know?
6A, yeah.
Man, that's
6A,
big
yeah.
time football.
That is
Yeah.
that's
it's
big time football. That's legit.
That's big time football in Texas.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That ain't no joke.
Texas forever.
Texas.
How's
baby.
Stingley doing? You hear about him or talk to his dad?
Yeah. Oh,
Talk
yeah.
to a daddy.
He's good. He talked to his daddy.
They Houston shut him down late in the year. He could have come back, but he missed some games from. But I mean, I hear everybody talking about his injury, but I mean,
Houston was playing it smart though.
I think so. Too.
They shut him and Pierce down
I
quick.
think so too. No reason.
Yeah, no reason to get these two
No
cats
reason,
hurt.
yeah, I
This is the
mean,
franchise.
you know what you got. You know what you got. But he's fine. I mean, he's third
one
overall
pick.
pick.
Yeah, that's really what's important.
And he has a defensive coach now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I guess. I mean, really, Lovie Smith that's the reason why they drafted him.
Yeah.
Lovie Smith fell in love with him.
Well, and they shut him down at the end of the year
Literally.
because the Texans were trying to get
They
the
were
number
trying
one
to
pick.
get fired. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
and
And
then
Lovie put it in their face.
then he wins the last game out of spite.
Got him fired.
Spite win, baby.
Got him fired.
Going out like this.
Who's their head coach going to be?
Ryans.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryans. Yeah, they'll be, and they're going to get what? They have the second overall pick. They'll get either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Bryce Young's going 1.
Yeah, it sounds like Bryce Young. It sounds like it's done.
Man, it's almost like the Burrow deal. Like, it's in my jersey already. I'm just.
Waiting for my name to be called. Draft's on Thursday. Then now they're going on the.
I'm sorry, man. I've got to be sold on Bryce Young.
Because of the size?
Really? You're
I'm
not?
Is it the size thing?
I'm not a bona fide Bryce Young's going to be a stud believer. I know that he's got the quarterback pedigree. I know that he's got the quarterback background. I know he's the smartest dude in the room a lot of times, filled with quarterback with football people. His size on an NFL football field cannot be. It can't be hidden.
It's the Tua theory.
It is absolutely Tua.
Kyler Murray. But
Yeah, but
I don't think
Kyler
Kyler
Murray
can
to me
scamper,
is.
can scurry away from
I'll
you.
buy Kyler Murray.
I was going to say, I don't think he has.
You can sell me Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray can get out of he can get out of a
phone
jam
booth.
in a phone booth, right? I mean, Bryce Young is a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, he's still athletic where he can run, but he don't want to run on that field, right? I mean, like, in a perfect world, you want to put him behind a line of, an offensive line that can keep him protected and let him just whip it. Just let him just throw the ball around. Coach, I mean.
But I mean, look at Drew Brees.
Yeah, but Drew
Russell
Brees,
Wilson.
the teams were built
For Drew Brees.
for Drew
Right.
Brees. Like, the offensive lines were built from the middle out because of the style that he played. And remember, Brees, he came in as a free agent. This guy's the number 1 pick.
Right.
That means you're going to a really bad team. I'm not selling that the Saints were the Patriots at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
But, I mean, they weren't the overall number 1 pick in the draft, right? And when you're going to the number 1 pick, you're going to a bad team. You're going to a team that's rebuilding, and you're going to a team that's going to have some dark days before they got bright days. And if Bryce Young catches a blind side, and I know that the quarterback is treated like a piece of glass in the NFL, and it is tough to hurt them, but you're 1 hit away in the NFL from catching a blind side from some dude that is 6'6",
Yeah.
270, that's running downhill at you, that's closing on you at a rate of speed where he's clocked at like 4.4, 4.5 40s, and it is, dude, it's over. You're
I know,
Tua.
but he knows how to hit clean, right? He knows how to get the ball. He checks all the boxes.
Well,
I mean,
and if you want to complain,
you can't argue that though. Like, he's pretty perfect.
He's great. He's great. It's different to be great at Alabama when everybody around you is a
That's
4
true.
and 5-star
That's
recruit.
true.
And I'm not saying that Bryce Young didn't play in big moments. You know when I was sold on Bryce Young? The Texas game.
I don't think there are any moments too big for
The
him.
Texas game, I was like, man, Bryce Young is legit.
Yeah.
Because if you take him off this field, Alabama get blown out.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have gotten blown out,
would've got
and
ugly.
they won the game. Right?
Oh, he put
so
the
I'm
ca-
not
he put the
telling
cape
you,
on.
I'm not telling you that I'm not sold on Bryce Young, the quarterback. I think that he will be going. I think he's probably the best quarterback Saban's had.
Yeah.
No doubt. Like,
I mean, yeah,
Easily.
he's had a Heisman runner-up. He's
Yeah,
had a
I mean, he
Heisman
set
winner.
records there, right?
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I guess Mac Jones is second or AJ McCarron.
I mean, you can make the argument it's Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
if you're going by NFL.
Yeah.
But Bryce Young, I'm telling you, I had no idea until I stood right next to him at SEC Media Day. I mean, really. I mean, when he walked by me, I was like, that's Bryce Young? I mean, damn.
The same size.
What? Coach, I mean, like, I put like the Jarvis Landry shake on him. I mean, I tried to like squeeze his hand, like, what's up, bro?
I want to shake your hand.
Shake my hand. But the size concerns are real. You have Tua taking like jiu-jitsu lessons, learning how to fall.
Ugh.
That's what he's been doing in the offseason
Wait,
because he's been.
Dude, that Tua thing's hard to watch, man.
Well, and with all the new rules, like, you can't land on him. Like, he'll be fine.
Oh no, I already got a future on Bryce Young to
You do?
be the first overall pick just because of
he's going
the
number
make.
one.
Yeah,
It's
well,
over.
they had the C.J. Stroud thing where it felt like the Panthers with the first overall pick. That it seems like they fell in love with him early, but then you get all of this bizarre news about him skipping the Manning Academy and that's
that was,
why
that was just Brady Quinn being Brady
Quinn.
Yeah,
trying
but dude, I mean, like, I'm not taking up, but I went back and listened to the entire. He tweeted out the entire clip, and
he got clickbaited.
He kind of got railroaded a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of saying what people had said. He was like,
He was setting the scene.
He was like, I'm sold on C.J. Stroud. He was like, I think C.J. Stroud is great. He's like, the reason why I think he's slipping is because people have said that he's like, I didn't know. I mean, like, he wasn't claiming it, and I'm not a Brady Quinn dude. You know what I mean? Like, I got no
haven't seen him play since the Sugar Bowl.
Quinn. But I kind of dug into it yesterday because I saw like Ryan Clark was getting all up in it and Brady Quinn was getting. I mean, I was like, so wait, what's going on? And I mean, it's just like this, like boom, 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 and then Quinn tweeted out like the segment of the podcast. I mean, like really, if you go back and listen to it, it's like, what's the issue? I mean, like he's not like saying I'm C.J. Stroud is a bum. I mean, like he's like I like C.J.
him.
He's like I love C.J. Stroud. He's like C.J. Stroud's a player. He's like I guess the reason why he's slipping is because I heard that this was going out there. It's like I mean I don't think that's true. You know, I mean like he wasn't claiming that. It was. I mean, it was. I thought it was a little. I'm not a Brady Quinn dude. I don't. But I thought in the moment that it was a little out of context.
No, absolutely. And then you dig into the whole story, and it's like C.J. Stroud skipped the Manning Academy to go throw with his teammates. Like they were doing off-season workouts that he put together. It's like I said I was going to do this with my teammates. We're trying to win a national championship. I don't have to go to the Manning Academy. Like at the Manning Academy, I'll let my numbers do the talking throughout the year. Like I'm working to win a natty. If Joe Burrow did the same thing, he would be lauded at LSU. Like, I'm working with my guys.
Yeah, right. It was. I thought it was just kind of a 2023 argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You
on social
said,
media.
Well,
It's like, no, you did.
No, you
No,
did.
you did.
Come on my podcast to discuss. It's like, no. Like, I don't need to do that. That's the whole game. Like, let's get in an argument. Well, come on my show. No, you come on my show. It's like, all right, we'll all come together.
Sounds like Alabama. But I mean, from Bryce Young's standpoint, he's going number one. He's in the NFC South. He's going to the Carolina Panthers. The Saints will see him twice a year. If he is the number one pick, I guess that's a week from last night, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. So I got to see his size stand up and hold up in the NFL before I believe it. I really do. I mean, look, I know that there's been a little bit of an infusion of undersized quarterbacks over the last couple of years with the inclusion of spread offense now to more, kind of that college style offense at the NFL level. But still, man, if you're going to run and try and be a pocket passer at, not 6 feet and not 200 pounds in the NFL, man, that's a brutal challenge because when you see these dudes firsthand up close, and I mean, I'm not talking to Bryce Young. I'm just talking to, people that may think that that's not that big of a deal. It's just, it's a totally different aspect when, you're just standing still back there and you got somebody running downhill at you that, outweighs you and bigger than you by, a couple of people. So.
Well, that's where you get into that's why people are enamored with Anthony Richardson. Because of the size, weight, and speed, because that's they're almost two polar opposites. One's just raw athleticism.
I'm not sure that the quarterback class is that good.
It's really
the top two are great.
Yeah,
it's next year's class that people.
Yeah, everybody wants next
Drake
year's
May
class.
and Caleb Williams.
Once you get off that second quarterback, it's kind of like.
But it's the NFL. Like somebody's gonna reach for two quarterbacks
for sure.
in the first round, if not the top 15 picks. Like, you'll see Will Levis go, you'll see Anthony Richardson go, and you'll look back at some teams and be like, well, that's where you messed up your first, like, the next 5 years of your franchise. Mm-hmm. Like, you reached on a Will Levis. I don't know which one's going to be right, which one's going to be wrong, but they're not all going to hit. That never works that way. And then you have teams that are set back for the next 4 years because you have a rookie quarterback that you took in the top 5 picks that doesn't pan out, and you're hamstrung by it. You almost have to wash your hands of it and do it again. It's like, how long do you ride out with the guy that you thought was good? And that's how coaches get fired. That's how GMs get fired.
It's depressing.
Yeah, well, you better hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You better hit.
Gotta hit.
Gotta hit.
Can't miss.
Out the window.
Remember Daily, we're brought to you by Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal, as they had some hail come through the 70806 zip code over the last couple of weeks. If that has affected you, remember you can get in touch with a pro over at Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal today. Easiest way to do it is find the phone number online, and you can get in touch with them if you're in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, North Shore. Coming soon to Daphne over in Alabama. Online, PremierSouthLA.com. PremierSouthLA.com. Louisiana's premier roofing experts. Whether you need commercial roofing, metal roofing, residential roofing, get in touch with them today. And remember, we always remind you if your roof is 8 years or older, odds are you qualify for a brand new roof. You definitely qualify for a free inspection from our friends over at Premier South. Get in touch with them today, PremierSouthLA.com, PremierSouthLA.com. Also, if you're up in St. Francisville, they had a hailstorm come through a couple of weeks ago. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, or you know you need a new roof because you got a leak, get in touch with Premier South. PremierSouthLA.com can help you out today. They've got great experience. They have a ton of laborers on the road that can get to you today. They can get an adjuster over to you, jump up on the roof, find out where the leak is, find out if there is a leak, if you need a new roof. They'll work with the insurance company. They've got insurance adjusters on staff, or former insurance adjusters. PremierSouthLA.com, PremierSouthLA.com. Residential roofing, commercial roofing, metal roofing, roof maintenance, roof repair. If you need help with gutters or awnings, they can help you as well. We'll talk to Nathan Velasquez coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Stick around with us. Jordy Culotta Show, built every day by R&B Builders.
Who the hell's Daphne?
You need to wear it.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
Do you you need your roof checked or just ready to get a new roof? Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal has helped over 10,000 customers with their roofs over the last 2 decades. Premier South employs over 300 team members in South Louisiana. They're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. They've been named in the top 100 roofers in the nation for a number of years. And Premier South has former insurance adjusters in-house whose job it is to help get all the insurance money you deserve. So go to PremierSouthLA.com for Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal and get your free inspection.
Premier South Roofing.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, built every day by RMB Builders. We were talking. We were not building anything over here.
We were building on our break.
We were definitely subbing out all of the building work.
But
we were talking about
Build those likes.
The Edna Carr documentary that's just popped up on Hulu. I believe it premiered on Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Last Wednesday, actually, because I was down in New Orleans. My buddy, Lance Unglesby, who is awesome. He's who we made the Woodville trip with.
Okay.
You know, all the boys.
Yeah.
So Lance, his younger brother, Blake, and I were the same age. So we were in the same circle. We ran together, and Blake passed away when we were 22 years old. And, you know, Blake was awesome. He was a character and miss him all the time. And we got together in Woodville to remember him on the 20th, what would have been anniversary, or just remembering his death. He just not good, nothing good.
Okay.
But a great life, you know, and was a great human. But his brothers, Lance and Lewis, they had brothers within our friend circle who had brothers the same ages. So they, you know, my buddy William Miller had an older brother, Britt, who was Lance's age, and Lewis was, and they were all in. So we were all intertwined.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean? It was all like they made our life a living hell.
I bet.
18 years of life, but at one point, like at some points along the way, they started to kind of accept us. You know what I mean? Like they kind of started to like. Culotta might not be that bad. Let him in. Let's not give him so much of a win. Let's not beat the hell out of him so bad today.
Walk in, toss you a beer for the first time. Like, oh, okay.
Light this, smoke this.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, Jesus. But he threw a New Orleans party he asked his girlfriend to marry him. He threw an engagement party, and he had just all of these people from New Orleans. He's a very successful lawyer in New Orleans. His dad is Louis Oglesby, who's Edward Edwards.
Okay.
The big dog.
Yeah.
And he's followed in his father's footsteps, and he's a successful lawyer down in New Orleans. And he had an engagement party last Monday night, and he invited me and two other my buddies, and we went down there, and I met Jackson Fager. I believe is how you correctly pronounce his last name, who is the producer and director of this documentary. And he is actually married to a girl from Baton Rouge. His story is awesome. He worked at Vice Television and may still work at Vice Television, but he was running the South African department of Vice Television. They were living in I believe in Cape Town, South Africa. They were living in Cape Town, South Africa. He was telling me the story. It was awesome, man. And him and his wife, who's a South Louisiana, Baton Rouge native, who actually went to St. Jude, who I know, and know her dad. She was diagnosed with cancer at the time, and she wanted to go home. She was like, I want to beat this at home. At the time, I believe she was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
It was an incredible story. They come home, they have the kid successfully. She successfully beats cancer and now in remission, and has had another kid since then. They've got a beautiful family, a beautiful uptown home in New Orleans. They've settled into home in New Orleans. He was looking for something to bury and kind of jump into. So 3 years ago now, he jumped on this project where he followed Edna Carr, the football program, for 2 seasons, for 2 years, and got unfiltered access, learned players, coaches. God bless you, Stewie.
Thank you.
And brought that to life through Hulu. And the documentary it's incredible. It's moving. It builds relationships between you, the viewer, and the characters on the television. And I thought I knew what it was like to be, kind of an inner city New Orleans football team. You got no idea if you don't know, right? Like if you don't really know. I mean, it's incredible. Coach Bryce Brown over at Edna Carr is one of the state's best high school coaches that you will find in definitely in Louisiana, probably in the Southeast. And what he goes through, and I don't want to say it like that, what he is responsible for as Carr's head coach, it's inexplainable. I mean, it's way, 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 way beyond the football field and the locker room. I mean, it is it's a powerful, powerful, powerful story. And hearing Jackson tell it, and I met him at that party. We exchanged contact. He's going to come on the pod at some point, and on the podcast at some point, and talk about it, and tell about his story. He's got an incredible story of just kind of his life in media and life to get where he is now, and bringing that story to life is really kind of how he got there is pretty fascinating. But if you have not seen it yet, I recommend it. It is it's powerful.
Watching the trailer right now.
Yeah,
It's powerful.
I
I believe
watch it.
3 either current or former Carr players were murdered during the production
Really?
of the show.
Wait, why?
Just
It's
New
Algiers, baby.
Orleans.
Like they got shot?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
The first episode is about Aaron Anderson, and they tell us a story about that. I'm not going to spoil it, but they feature Aaron Anderson in the first episode. The coach has a pretty strong quote that I will read that. As Coach Bryce Brown tells Aaron Anderson, "Death is knocking at your door. It's up to you if you're going to answer it or not."
Wow.
So that's what they go through every day.
Jeez. That's heavy.
Yeah, I saw a clip like on TikTok last night, and it was like the coach was explaining to one of the kids about the kid was having problems with his dad, and he was like, second hour yet? Oh, it's like, dads fuck up. Like, he fucked up.
Yeah.
You got to live with that. Like, you got to deal with it. Like, we all got to deal with it. My dad fucked up sometimes. Like, and the kid was just, like, crying because he didn't understand. Like, his dad wasn't going to be in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that a lot of football coaches don't have to deal with. But
I mean, you know what a hard conversation for 99%, maybe not that many, probably 95% of high school football coaches in America is, son, you're not going to start.
Mm-hmm.
Son, you're not going to play. Son, I decided to go with somebody else.
Yeah, that's tough.
Those are conversations that coaches dread driving to work, having to have with kids that you built a relationship up. Those conversations are on a totally different level.
Right.
Like that's at a totally different depth. That's at a totally different spot in the program. That doesn't even, that doesn't hit where we're even talking about coach-player relationship. Right. I mean, that crosses the line to something a lot deeper than that. And Jackson does an incredible job, and his team, of bringing that to life. Matt Sharp, who is a great friend and has helped out this show a tremendous amount of times as a part of that crew.
Aren't they the school that has the best
opening
run out
when they come
whatever?
out?
Yeah.
The best.
Katie.
What size are they? What size school are they?
5A.
They're 5A?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched them play in the state championship a couple of years ago. They played, it's like this black and silver team. I don't even know who they were, but it was obviously unmatched.
Yeah.
They were outmatched. And Carr came out. Well, they came out first, and then Carr came out with their run out, and I was like, all right, this game's over.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a competition.
I'm excited to watch it.
I mean, a lot of teams.
They win it before you kick.
Yeah, a lot of teams, they beat you on the run out. But it's an incredible documentary if you have not seen it. Stuart, I want to get the correct title of it.
What is the title?
Algiers America, The Relentless Pursuit.
That's it. Algiers America.
Okay. Interesting.
It's a great one, man. Check it out. And it's obviously, built around South Louisiana and New Orleans high school football, but it's much more than the Friday Night Lights. It tells a lot of story. And again, Bryce Brown, who is the head coach at Carr, really is somebody that you'll just fall in love with here. I mean, just how good at his job he is will be on display. So check that out. That is good stuff, and it's obviously built around some South Louisiana programming. LSU baseball will be in Oxford this weekend, taking on Ole Miss, and
they
LSU.
Will take Ole Miss.
They better.
They will take Ole Miss.
They need to.
That'll be a sweep.
LSU needs to start accumulating wins because up to this point, they've done what they've had to do, right? Really. And I think that the task that has been put in front of the number one team in the country has been a tough ask to overcome. But LSU has done that. I think that they've answered throughout all of the adversity that they have faced, and they have still got to fight through some, especially through the pitching staff and what's going to happen here with Gavin Dugas, because I do believe that they have to have Gavin Dugas. And they have to have Gavin Dugas at full strength, really, to be at their best. And they need to catch some breaks here on the pitching staff, but moreover, immediately, right now, they need to win as many games as they can to start putting as many wins in that column as they can stack before the postseason starts. Because, everybody's kind of sitting on this stat right now that if the SEC tournament started today, LSU would be the 6th seed, which is pretty wild to kind of say out loud about the number one team in the country. But when you look at the teams around them and you look at, the things and the formula and the recipe that goes into this stuff, for what they're looking at, LSU, they're right about where they're labeled, about the 6th seed right now. Now, do I believe they're a lot better than 6th in the league? Yeah, and I'm sure everybody else does. But for what has been, what's been accomplished up to this point, that's where they are. So now is the portion of the schedule where you look, you really looked at it and you said, LSU's going to have an opportunity here to reel off some wins, right? Ole Miss, Alabama, Mississippi State.
Baby.
But
Go there.
you should be able to pick up as many sweeps as possible. From here on out. I mean, I hate to kind of say this, but I mean, it's time to bring the broom everywhere.
It really is.
You know what I mean? It's a tough ask.
Oh yeah, well it's just because of it's the elephant in the room for LSU baseball is who's going to be that third guy because you feel, especially going through the latter half of the season where the schedule is not as tough. Obviously, it's the SEC. Every team has the potential to beat you. You can see it happens all the time. It's hard to win 3, especially on the road, but without a bona fide third guy, they're throwing Christian Little this weekend, so you see the revolving door continue to revolve. They're trying to figure out a guy that can get you at least through 4 innings, 5 innings of work so they don't have to tax the bullpen because after Paul Skeens, who's been Superman for you, who's getting you through 7 innings of work every time he goes out, throws 110 pitches at all of them above, or half of them. Anytime he throws a fastball, it's 100 miles an hour. Like, you're putting an incredible ask on him to go out there and do that. He has to be on every single night he goes out, and he's answered the bell every time. So you feel very confident what he's going to do on your first start of a series. Ty Floyd has been up and down, but they've been able to kind of score runs whenever he's pitched. So that's where you feel like, okay, if we can win the second game, it's all hands on deck for the third game because they haven't been able to pencil anybody in. And that's why a lot of these questions, it felt like were going to be answered in the portal. That's why you got a Thatcher Hurd. That's why you got a Christian Little to try to go get these guys to go find a third starter because Jay knew he needed one to kind of fill out that lineup. And before the year, if you'd have said that this was a problem, it probably wouldn't have been first on the list. They were probably more concerned about defense from what happened last year. That seems to have been hemmed up a little bit, even though they've made, I think, 25 errors or 12 errors in the last 4 games, something like that, where it's been a little dicey on the defensive end. And some of those, it's just baseball. It feels like they've kind of hit the mid-season lull where they're like, they came out so hot to where at some point you're going to cool off.
Yeah.
And so it's all contingent on them finding a third guy to where it doesn't feel like you're bootstrapping this thing every Sunday you go out there. It's like, I don't know what we're going to get from any of these guys. Like, you feel confident in Gavin Guidry. You feel confident in, Shores, and now that you have Javin Coleman back, maybe he's an answer, but you're not going to force him into a situation to where he has to throw more than an inning or 2. And so they're just going to have to continue to get pieces back. Once you lost to Garrett Edwards, you still don't have the answer on him. Ackenhausen, you still don't have an answer on him. All of these things are kind of starting to pile up, and that's where LSU kind of finds themselves having trouble to sweep. But if you ask any baseball fan or any coach or any player, if you win every series that you play in, they'll take that 10 out of 10 times.
Without question.
But you would like to get, throw a sweep or 2 in there.
They will throw a sweep this weekend.
Yeah. Well,
Paul Skeens has already riled everybody up because he said he doesn't expect the Ole Miss students to be celebrating many home runs.
Yeah, what is that?
Stupid beer showers.
Speaking of things.
He didn't say stupid beer showers, I did. But
Leah Van had to go on and correct the tweet similar to a Brady Quinn situation because there was a lot of ire on the Ole Miss boards about it. He's like, look, I shouldn't have just taken the one. I thought people would watch the video that it was attached to.
No.
It's like, that's not how Twitter works. Like, they just saw the quote and the way that it was clipped.
I love it. They're 3-12 in conference.
But they did this last year.
Where's that come into this?
Well, your hate for Ole Miss is palpable.
Yeah. It is.
You just gotta give him a go Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Blair sitting here yesterday. I wish he would have said it on air when he was talking about how terrible Oxford is and how he likes Starkville so much better. I was like, damn it.
Dak.
Why can't he say that on air?
How do you just
Why can't all of you people understand?
I've never been to either.
You need to.
Yeah,
then
the
you would
last
get
time I
it.
went to Starkville, it was not developed at all. I mean,
When
it would
was
be
that?
a totally different place. Probably like
it is a totally different place. It was developed. I lived there.
It's like 2005, probably.
Okay.
Jeez.
No,
Long time.
I mean, it's come a
underdeveloped.
long way since then. Yeah.
I mean, it's been nearly 20 years.
I remember the Burger King on campus is really the only thing.
That was a bank before.
It was like a wooden.
It was
Burger
wooden, like a
King.
cabin. It was
That's
a log
right.
cabin. It was a
Jeez.
bank
Like a
before
Cracker
that.
Barrel.
Flame grilled.
It was like a Cracker Barrel. That was wild.
And they were like, "That's a Burger King." I was like, "Get that!"
Yeah.
We gotta go.
I was like, "Pull it."
It's a Burger King.
Pull in that
It's a
thing.
Burger King.
Is it
But
still
Oxford
there?
is
They're cooking over an open
No,
fire.
it's not there anymore.
Really?
It's
like
so
a
different
log
than
cabin.
Oxford. I mean, I don't get it. Like, because they have
It's totally
a
different
bookstore
than
on the
Oxford.
square.
Oxford
It's
to
not
me
that different.
is like
It's just a little small SEC college town with
Yeah,
little
but
bars
the
and little
layout of it.
restaurants. The layout, because they have a square, we have
Yeah.
a strip of downtown,
Right.
like a main street, and theirs is
Yeah.
in a square. That's the only difference.
Stark Vegas.
Go to the square, baby.
Have you ever been?
Go to the
How many
Grove.
How many bars
what,
do they
to
have?
Starkville?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
Mississippi State.
20
Like,
You haven't been to Ole Miss.
I mean,
how many bars?
like college bars?
Yeah.
I mean, like probably 12, like real college bars now.
What's the best
now.
one when you were there?
When I was there, it was Rick's.
Rick's.
Yeah, see, it sounds a lot
Rick.
like it sounds
Say
like
Rick-
Natchitoches.
Say Rick's
No, it was
around
huge.
here. And
Yeah.
start playing
Rick's
your
was
start
like,
playing your state song.
Yeah.
It was the catery. Rick's was the catery.
Okay.
It was huge,
Okay, it was
like
live-
that,
like
and
a
like big
live
concert,
music.
live music, like big place, and had like
Bar
a
and
couple
grill.
of things attached to it, yeah.
Get food.
Yes, it was like that. That
Live
was our
bands.
catery.
Free breakfast.
And then we had
sell
Starkville
chicken wings over
Cafe
there?
instead of Louis.
Lemon pepper.
I'm over here to get the
I
lemon
could
pepper
go on
wings.
Come to
all
the
day. We don't
stage,
have
the
to
carpool
do this.
queen.
Whatever.
Yeah.
What's the bar in Oxford? Is it the library?
They have the library bar.
The library
Overrated.
bar. Overrated. I agree.
Yeah.
Everything in Oxford is just
Everything in
overrated.
Oxford's overrated. Just like Chris said, let's go to Ajax and spend $200 on subpar food.
What is Ajax?
You're
It
chunking
sounds,
Blair.
Ajax
under the
is what you
bus.
call-
You're chunking
clean.
Blair under the bus. this
Yeah, you
morning.
are.
I was about to say, yeah, Ajax sounds
He
like
said
that.
it.
Chris Blair said it.
He said it off air.
Off the air.
If you
He
took
would
all of
say it
our
on the air.
if
He
you
would
took
say
all
it
of
on
our
air.
off the air, on the air conversations, this show wouldn't exist.
Hunter Hall said Little Dewey. That's my place, barbecue.
Little
And I don't
Dewey.
even love barbecue, but I
Dewey.
love the Little Dewey. I miss
It's-
Starkville. I gotta get back up there
Little Dewey's.
for a little visit.
So is that the spot?
White barbecue
Little
sauce.
Dewey for barbecue. That's
White
where like
barbecue
everybody from
sauce.
ESPN goes and signs
okay.
the wall. Like they put it on game day. It's like that spot.
I want to do a baseball game in Starkville.
Yeah, we need to. We need to
The
get in
D.
like get a condo and do
Let's
it.
get
We
the
threatened
D.
that like 2 years ago. Remember, we were all going.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Oh,
gonna
I'm
do
just
a
gonna
show
scream
there.
"Go Dak" the whole time.
Go Dak.
Go Dak.
He was there last weekend.
Did you see that?
They're gonna love me there.
The Sacramento Kings have taken your cowbells.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean taking the
They
cowbells?
they have them at their home basketball arena.
Aw,
That's what they ring
cool.
for. Did you see Bob Myers getting absolutely eviscerated by a cowbell? Now they can't use him anymore. He was sitting amongst the people, Major League style.
Amongst
I like
the
to be on
people.
the court. And there's just a Sacramento Kings fan behind him just wearing him out the entire game, 4 quarters. And Bob was just like...
I can't deal with
Oh,
it.
Like
I'm-
a real
I'm-
one, like this,
Yeah,
a big one, or like
yeah.
the little
No,
plastic?
it's like this.
They're taking
So
those
wait.
in.
Yeah. And now they're not because...
banning them?
Oh, Bob made a call. He was like, oh, we're not doing this.
Why though? What do they have to do with cowbells?
I don't know.
They
It's-
made it their home court. That was their deal.
It's like the
I
beam.
see a lot of
Like the
teams now
beans.
doing the little ones, like the little
And-
more plastic ones that are just kind of loud and annoying. But
at
I
a
haven't-
football field, like okay.
Well, we
but
take them inside for basketball and stuff.
Oh, my
Basketball
God.
games.
Jesus.
Have y'all been?
Wait.
So you've never been to a game? You haven't either.
I will
I guess?
never.
Yeah, you will.
So Katie,
I will
you-
never go to Mississippi State.
I mean, when I took my friends from here the first time, like they were so embarrassing. They sat there like with their hands like this, like
Clang-a,
popping
clang-a.
Tylenol
Oh my God.
openly. Like I was turning around to people saying, "I'm sorry, they're from LSU. Like just let them do this.
Just
like let them
imagine.
be mad."
Just,
Let 'em be mad.
just imagine like going to Mississippi State and not knowing that they do the cowbells.
They bring one on. Do y'all have this?
That's huge. What is that?
It's a big cowbell.
Damn.
Is that a
That's their
giant
pregame.
cowbell?
That's huge.
Y'all need to get one of those.
That's why we don't need it. Everybody has their own. That's a big one.
Cowbells.
That's a
Go
big
Dak.
one. Go Dak.
These are theirs, but they have the ones with the real handles too.
Yeah,
They're cowbelling,
they're cowbelling.
and they're not. I don't know if they will be anymore.
That's weird though. Like that's a
Yep.
weird thing. That's a weird team to have cowbells.
Oh, they were trying to bring them into the Warriors arena too, and they were like they confiscated.
Is
You
that
can't
where you
bring
got
them
him?
out
He can't.
somewhere
He can't ban them in Sacramento's arena, can he?
I don't know. I would have.
No, I
don't
imagine
think he
he's
has
having
that kind
them
of
banned
pull.
from-
Yeah, Golden State.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was about to say, Bob,
Well, just go sit in the suite.
about to make your life a living hell.
Yeah,
I mean,
have
like-
more than one. But the one guy
About to
looks
ring
like
a cowbell at your dinner, buddy. Like, see you out with your restaurant, your wife.
this is how we order food here.
Yeah.
But shit, forgot what I was gonna say.
Ooh,
But if you're
420.
if you're Bob, why wouldn't you just go to the suite? Like just walk yourself on up there. I guess you
Maybe
can't.
they
You
have a-
can't.
I think
Sweet.
Bob wants to show that Bob probably
Is
in his
basketball
life
tough?
feels as if he lives above everybody. So rather than living this out at my workplace and standing above you and looking down on you,
Look at what
watch
I felt.
how common I am.
Yeah.
As I
Well,
walk down here in my
$3,000
$3,000
shoes.
shoes.
Yeah.
Right?
And just get.
And just get blasted by the common man.
Yeah, the guy-
You know what I mean? Like,
The guy behind him looked like.
what is this?
This is how you people live?
I'm getting this banned.
The Joe Oliva.
Yeah, right. Oliva.
But the guy behind him looked like the. Do you remember the Texas Tech bell ringer? But with the guy that's like starts the game. You've never seen this?
No.
Oh, pull up that.
I thought they
pull up
fired
that
cannons
video.
there.
There's a reason that they changed it. The Texas Tech bell ringer. It looks like he was.
Like a real bell.
Yeah, it looks like he's beaten off.
No.
And
Oh
then
wait,
they-
I have
Oh,
seen
yeah.
that. That's amazing.
But the guy
It's
behind
so
it
awkward.
is unbelievable.
It's a great meme.
Please pull it up. Please.
Burrow's coming to the spring game.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
AYS.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he is not coming to the spring game.
Dude, no,
Yeah,
he's
that's
not.
super
Boy,
awkward.
BK was messing with the crew, man.
He's got a little.
He
The
does.
delivery was so
He does.
dry,
It
and he's so
was.
CIA stone faced
God,
that
it
people
was
are like,
very CIA-ish, dude. It had Cobble like, I've got a follow up. Is Burrow coming or not?
because I can't. I don't know what. I don't know what to write. So.
And even that delivery, I thought was very. He's like, no, he's not coming.
No.
No, he's like,
Stewie, do you want us to go to the LSU MSU game this year? I would invite Lloyd and Jordy, but they won't show up. They'll back out. So do you want
we
to
will
plan
tell
to
you
go?
that we will go.
Yeah, I know that.
Wait, is this?
I would never plan
in Stark-
anything
is
or
this
pay
in
for a
Starkville?
condo. Yeah, LSU plays in Starkville this year. So
When is
you want
this?
to go?
What is this? When is it?
I don't know when it is. September, I guess.
Stewie, you're
no,
gonna
no,
come
no,
back.
No, I think that the Mississippi State and the Ole Miss game flipped this year. I think Ole Miss is at the beginning of the year.
Really?
And Mississippi, or it might be Ole Miss and Auburn flipped.
Yeah, Auburn.
Yeah,
is,
I don't think we flipped.
Yeah.
Auburn is like the first conference
Auburn's now.
game.
No, it was forever. Now Auburn's. Like
Oh,
at the-
it's super late in the year.
now it's back at the end of the year.
So Ole Miss is earlier
And Ole Miss
here,
is
like
earlier, I think.
Yeah, Ole Miss is away, but it is September 30th.
I mean, we always play.
What?
I mean,
Mississippi State?
LSU usually plays Ole Miss on Halloween weekend.
Arkansas
Right.
is the one that flipped.
That's the one I was thinking.
Arkansas is
Oh,
at
yeah.
the beginning of the year. Arkansas September 23rd.
Mississippi State, September 16th.
all right.
When's the Auburn game?
Auburn, October 14th.
Yeah.
That's about right, huh?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. I think Arkansas flipped with somebody.
Tom Granning will be
Florida?
there with his RV.
Yeah, because we usually play Florida like September.
No, like the first weekend of October.
Okay, yeah.
That's usually like the first October.
Yeah, because now they're in
game.
November.
Florida. is?
Florida's the game after Bama.
Oh man, that's
Brutal.
treacherous.
It used to be Arkansas. That's who flipped.
Why did that happen?
I don't
Have you ever
know.
had an explanation on that? I don't even know if anybody needs to explain that.
We need an
The
explanation,
start
damn
of the
it.
SEC schedule is kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but it's easier than it's been. You have Mississippi State, Arkansas,
Ole Miss.
Missouri, Auburn, and then you got Army.
Whose schedule is this?
Then you get
LSU's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Army makes me nervous.
Yeah, that's
Army
going to
does
be a
make me
weird one.
nervous.
That's here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Army
Oh,
makes me
now we're
nervous
going
of
to
where
West
they're
Point.
placed.
That would be weird.
Right.
Like
Played
where
on
the
a
game
battleship.
is.
It's right
West
before
Point.
Bama. Ugly. It's like,
Man, you got to stop that triple. You got to deal with that triple option.
I would never schedule a military
ever,
team.
dude, ever,
Army, Navy.
Why did that happen?
ever. That's
I
some
mean,
Ogeron stuff right there.
we got to schedule a service program.
Now I don't know why. I mean, I'm not sure why, but that it happened on his watch. I doubt that he was pushing for a.
Oh, that's an Orgeron?
Yeah, I mean, like this schedule was made while
Yeah,
he was
that
the head
makes
coach
sense.
for sure.
I forget to do it 15 years
I
in
don't know.
advance.
That's weird.
It is weird. how
He
they
would
do that.
schedule a service academy. Oh, we're gonna.
I mean, I would think that this would be more like less.
Have y'all ever
Oh,
played
Jesus.
Army?
No, we avoid these teams like the plague.
Right. I mean, these are the teams that you got to prepare for.
Yeah, this is
They'll
weird.
sneak up. Yeah,
weird.
There's
Like-
an Army, Navy, or Air Force upset once a year. One of those three
Yeah.
teams will beat a team that they're not supposed to beat because of their style of play. It's just hard to prepare for.
It's not normal anymore.
Yeah.
Hunter Hall, ain't none of y'all want to come to Tuscaloosa? I would love to be in Tuscaloosa, Hunter, because of what y'all have done with the downtown and the walkways.
Oh God, here he goes.
And we're 1-0, Hunter.
But
Personally.
football games there are very overrated.
Tuscaloosa was trash when I was in college.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 45 minutes away. We would go over there, and I mean, nothing.
No, it was. Saban has brought
nothing.
down more than a dynasty of the football program.
Yeah.
He revived a state.
He's brought him a downtown.
Yeah.
I mean,
Revived the state.
He really has.
He's brought him sidewalks.
Yeah, I mean, he's revived that town. That's so awkward. Why that angle? Like, shoot it from the side so you can see what he's doing.
He's gonna shoot it from the side.
I knew when I said that. Why did I say the word shoot?
It's almost like they know.
What an incredible meme.
They have to
That
know.
is
They have to know.
There's another one of a guy with long hair doing it, and it is vigorous.
They have to know.
It's so good. Oh, this is the one that I always
And the way that
think
he's
of.
holding on to the top of the bell, though.
This is the best one because
God.
he looks up at
That's
you.
like he's in the bell.
The eyes that he
the
cuts.
eye contact
Yeah.
makes it worse. Like, don't make eye contact while you're ringing.
I'm telling you, I think that they know that it looks like this, and they're just doing a gag.
Oh,
It has to.
They have to know, or they would change
Yeah,
the
just
damn
flash that
camera
one.
angle.
Look, it's all of them.
My man's just going he's going hard.
Sorry. I didn't mean to.
Okay, he's serious about it. That guy's like,
Well,
he's intense.
This
He's
is
not
his second or
smiling.
third time doing it. He's like, I got to get this one out of me. I promised another round. Get off the bus.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
That's so weird.
There he is. There's my guy.
Army does not run the triple option anymore, right?
Are we being told that? Yeah.
He knows it, dude.
He
Like,
knows.
you're like, that's the TV,
Look
dude.
at that shoulder working. His whole back is into it.
There might be somebody in there.
There might be. Oh my
His
god,
face
that's
was way
so
too-
awkward. That's really weird.
Dude, there has to be like an administrator, like some like the president of the university.
How can
like,
we can't say?
What are we doing?
We can't say suck that tiger dick. And,
I know, but y'all can do
Who
this.
is doing this? Fucking with again? I mean, like the AD is like sitting with boosters, like in the suite. Third and goal for the Red Raiders.
Time to go get a drink, boys. Hold on. Don't look at the field.
Ring that bell.
Wait, do they only ring it at the beginning of the game, or do they
They ring
it?
it like for big plays.
Yeah, they
Okay,
like
so a lot.
they ring that thing all night.
Is it the same guy for the whole night?
It has to.
Oh
be.
my goodness.
Think about his arm has got to be so.
I mean, that's a workout.
First team all jerk team.
Yeah, you see,
Like,
see
did
him
he
in-
switch to his right
Oh,
hand
I'm
ever?
saying.
Dude,
He's got to switch hands halfway through the game.
Third quarter.
Unless he just walks in like
It's just
like,
massive.
hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah. It's just right arm's just 3 times the size of his left, like
Popeye and
like a tennis player.
So weird.
big bell ringer.
Yeah. Got a huge bell.
All right, Nathan Velasquez talking movies next. That'd be 420.
Yes.
1.
That's The Hangover.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
In 1975, Mike Anderson left the gridiron for the grill, opening a po' boy shop near LSU. If you're from Louisiana, odds are you've tasted a dish, experienced the tradition of Mike Anderson's seafood. 48 years later, the tradition of Mike Anderson's lives on with the next generation.
I'm very thankful. He's never allowed okay to be okay. It's a driving force for me to just want to keep it as good as he made it.
Mike Anderson Seafood and WAFB, celebrating the community. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you by Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans. Our friend Scott Craig and Katie's Restaurant over on Iberville Street, their sister restaurant, Francesca's, over there in Lakeview. Check them out if you're in New Orleans this weekend. We got nothing to do this weekend.
Oh, God. I have Sophie's 16th birthday dinner tonight.
Wow.
Where are we going?
My super sweet 16.
Jubins.
Oh.
And then a group is coming over after.
Y'all helicoptering in the Range Rover?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Beautiful.
I would definitely ask Katie
yeah,
that.
they're definitely getting a car, huh?
She already has her car. She's been practicing on it since the fall. That's not that exciting.
Oh, she's going to helicopter
Getting a new car.
Right.
No.
That was my training wheels car,
Yeah,
Mom.
No.
I thought we leased this.
We don't roll like that.
It's 6-month lease.
And then I'm on the host committee for the Emerge
The what
Gala
committee?
tomorrow
Good.
night. Host committee.
Did you invite Lloyd to the ball?
Nope. Didn't invite any of y'all.
If you need me to MC, I will be
Just
there.
my girlfriends.
hey, let me
David's
know-
at the Oxford
Let
series.
me know if you
so-
need me.
Oh, I will.
Let me know if you need a filler.
Yeah,
I'll be
I will.
there.
I will.
Let me
Forget
know if
it.
you need me for
There's going to be
sure.
bull riding and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
It's
I'm
gonna
in.
be a fun
man.
night.
I am in.
It's going to be a fun night.
Look
You
at
gonna
Katie's form.
Are y'all gonna ring
I
the
would
bell?
never ride a
Do a
bull.
little
I would
play-by-play
never-
here.
I would never get on a mechanical bull. That is one thing you will not see me do.
Why not?
Ooh, the famous last
Uh-huh.
words.
No.
2 more shots
That
for the
has to
blonde
be
headed.
like the most-
And now to the main
dark-headed lady.
stage.
Yes, that's
No,
right.
that has to be the most unladylike thing you could do.
Ooh.
Oh,
Right?
Ride a bull?
Get on a mechanical bull.
You've never, like, spring break?
No, I've never gotten on a
Oh,
mechanical
yeah.
You've never
bull.
gotten on one in a bar.
I
Club
would
LaVille?
no. I would never publicly
They had
do
one
that.
outside.
I did.
All right, Nathan
Had
Velasquez.
a lot of girls did the same thing you did that got up there.
He's up in New York City. Some big news around Hollywood. Alec Baldwin dropped all charges around Baldwin here off of the Rust shooting on the movie of the set Rust. Nathan is here to catch us up and catch up with him. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning. No, I did not think that I was going to come out looking naive in this, but I honestly thought that this would at very least go to some type of a trial. But yeah, it happened in October of 2021 that Alec Baldwin shot that woman on set. And it's been a long process, and it was getting to the point that next month it was going to go to trial, and now all the charges are dropped. To kind of bring everyone up to speed on that case, the biggest problem wasn't even that, he shot the woman. The biggest problem was that in terms of legal problem he was facing, the hurdles he had to cross, was that he was a producer on that production, meaning that he's on the good side, the movie makes money, he's going to get a whole lot of those profits. If it doesn't, then, not so much. But when it comes to the actual running of the set, it's a business, and he's essentially one of the board members. He's supposed to be making sure that everything's running well. The day before the incident happened, there were people that were quitting the set because people were using live rounds for target practicing, mixing them in with the actual ammunition, like the dummy rounds. And so a bunch of people quit. Alec Baldwin, it's proved that he knew that, that was going on, didn't do anything about it, didn't say, hey, we got to pause this production. The people that are using real ammunition, you guys are out of here. Just carried on. It's kind of a low budget production in terms of what he would normally work on. So it's kind of like, hey, we're just kind of trying to get this thing done and get out of here. And then the day of it actually happening, this was it was like a rehearsal for staging this scene that was going to go on. And he didn't even call the armor into the room for where this actually happened. The idea of a producer looking around being like, so we're going to be working with ammunition here. We're going to be working with dummy rounds. We're going to be working with guns. Don't we need the armor in here? The involuntary manslaughter charge that was dropped, it wasn't levied because he shot her. There was enough of a way to say, well, that was someone else's job and that wasn't his responsibility. The big problem was you're the producer on this thing. There's so many red flags. You didn't do anything. You're culpable in this. So I totally get why the civil suit might have been dropped. The fact that they're going to finish this movie is ridiculous. Seems ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But they put her family as an executive producer. So the movie's clearly going to make money now because it's just such a scandalous story. The family's obviously going to get a lot of money, I'm sure, behind the scenes, that they've been given a lot of money. So I can understand why that civil suit was dropped. But in terms of the state dropping the case, I mean, I'm sure we can all have a pretty good guess as to what is going on, but we're never going to know exactly, like, why did you drop the charges just against this guy? I mean, looks slimy. The whole thing has always looked slimy, but this is really slimy.
I agree.
Is the armorer still charged, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed?
Armor is still getting charged. The other producers are still getting charged. It's just kind of like someone came in and was like, all right, Mr. Baldwin, you can leave now. Everyone else, you stay. Everyone else, you're still on the hook.
Power of Hollywood.
No.
Well, she was hired. She was inexperienced. She only got the job because her dad used to do this.
Really?
Yeah, and she was very inexperienced at being an armorer, and she was charged. She was,
my God.
I say charged. Her job was to make sure that all of the guns and such were safe. And here's her picture.
She had one job. Oh, cool.
So,
yeah.
What
a lot of trust.
Yeah.
What a mess.
It looks like she's really into safety with guns.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
What a mess.
No, she's done herself no favors in this whole thing either.
No,
I wouldn't imagine.
The 5-minute critic Nathan Velasquez is here. Make sure and check him out on YouTube to keep up with the the weekly reviews. This week it'll be Lord of the Rings. We'll get to that. Martin Scorsese has a new project, and he's got a huge budget. What are we expecting here?
Yeah, the runtime. He's been working on this movie. It's called The Killer of Osage County. The Killer of the Flower Moon. See, now I'm getting the title all mixed up here. Well, the title is really long. The movie is even longer. This is going to be one of his longest movies. It's 3 hours, 26 minutes, which is 3 minutes shorter than The Irishman. Jeez. Leonardo DiCaprio is playing an FBI agent in the 1920s who's investigating some particularly gruesome murders out west. A lot of people that have worked on the movie have said this is probably going to be one of Scorsese's more violent movies. It's starring Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser, as said, Leonardo DiCaprio. And thinking of how violent he gets, like things like Casino, the gun scene, and Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, they're saying that it's going to probably clear all of those bars for his most violent movie. The book is said to be also one of the better when it comes to like authenticity of what it would have been like to be kind of out in the Wild West of the 20s. Not so much like what you would see in a generic Western, but something that's actually maybe more of a Bone Tomahawk feel. If you haven't checked that movie out, very, very brutal, but still very compelling, very entertaining. And so we'll see where it falls in Scorsese's canon. He's one of those directors who has survived in the way that others from his crew, like Brian De Palma, while they did great in the 70s, 80s, and somewhat 90s, he's one of the few ones from that era that is still out making movies that I think most people would consider they can rival some of the best work whenever they were kind of seen in their heyday. So this is a really, really exciting movie. It's supposed to premiere in a few months and probably be out later this fall for Oscars.
Nathan, me and the family made a very out of character trip to the movie theater this week and went and watched Air, the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon special, and the Michael Jordan story signing with Nike, which I thought was fantastic. What other movies would you recommend to people going to the theaters this weekend?
I mean, Super Mario is one, especially if you've got kids. Like that's kind of the movie that people are enjoying. People are saying it's good. I have not seen it yet. I would say that if that's something that you feel like you'd be into, people say that it kind of hits that nostalgia spot in a good way. But Evil Dead Rises, that is, if you're into horror, that's a movie that is going to be incredibly gruesome. Stephen King came out and said that it's probably as good as he would at least say. He'd probably say it's as good as the first two. If you're a fan of those types of movies, definitely go and check that out. It sounds like it's going to be pretty terrifying. Renfield is also out. We've kind of been previewing that, the Nicolas Cage as Dracula movie. Nicolas Cage said that in his life he wanted to play Superman and Dracula at some point.
I can't wait for that one.
I don't know how Superman would go. I know. It looks like it's probably going to be pretty fun.
It does.
It looks like it's going to be pretty fun. John Wick is still out too. So,
Yes,
I mean, if you haven't checked out yet, that is a great time. It's a really, really, I thought the third one was such a letdown that I was kind of trepidatious going into this one. Like, are they going to be able to land the plane well? The action is fantastic, but it's also very, very funny. I was not expecting it to be able to pull that off so well. So, if you haven't seen the fourth one and you felt like maybe the third one was kind of losing the plot a little bit, go and see it, especially see it in the theater.
I didn't care what the third one was like. I would see it again and again. I love that whole franchise. Keanu.
They've got the show coming out soon. The Continental is going to be on Peacock soon. It's going to be I think it's the origin of the hotel and kind of how that society is built. I know.
Nathan, Avatar 2 going into theaters, is that right?
Yeah, James Cameron is putting Avatar 2 back in theaters. He says he's putting it back in theaters for Earth Day this Saturday. I think James Cameron would put his movies in theaters for anything. He would say it's a nice day out, so the movies are going back into theaters.
It's a rainy
day
out.
With James Cameron is exactly, it's rainy. Like it's a bit dull, and then it's just kind of like a text that goes out. He tweets out, "Go see Avatar in 10 minutes." The big thing with James Cameron, I don't think it's so much that, it's more that he currently 3 of the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time are James Cameron movies. And, for most people, it'd be like, okay, good, I'm happy with that. He wants his movies to be like 1, 2, 3. He wants the top 3 movies to be. Now, number 1 is Avatar. Number 2 is Avengers. Right after that is Avatar 2. He's $200 million away from getting Avatar 2, which would be wild. A movie and then a sequel, highest production budget of any movies of all time. And they reach the number 1 and the number 2 spot. That's what he wants to see. And eventually we'll get Avatar 3. He wants that to have the 3rd spot. But he's $200 million away from Avatar 2 being number 2. So I think it's just going to expect the next 3 years. Avatar 2 just, it's back in theaters. It's back in theaters. So if you liked it, go and see it in IMAX this weekend.
Nathan Velasquez, the 5-minute critic. Nate, what are you breaking down this week?
Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. It was in theaters this week. The last 2 weeks, they've been putting it back in theaters. There's kind of mutterings that it might go back into theaters again for the 20th anniversary. So I was able to catch a screening 2 nights ago. Still, while some of the CGI, it looks like 2000s, it still holds up incredibly well. But not just the CGI, the story, I feel like that it's very universal, just the way, the idea of man being naturally damaged naturally evil, naturally being able to be assuaged to kind of the dark side, if you will. It's a little bit more nuanced than maybe a franchise like Star Wars when dealing with those topics. But I feel like that's kind of one of the things that keeps it lasting so long. But still, just on a technical filmmaking level, is one of the most beautiful movies that we've gotten in the last 20 years. I mean, even if you don't want to take the time to watch the original two, if they keep these screenings going, go and check out The Return of the King. It's a great movie. I feel like it's weird that it's been 20 years now. I mean, we go for screenings, like they put screenings of like Lawrence of Arabia out, and it's kind of held up as like a tent pole of the best movies that have ever been produced. And I feel like as time goes by, once we reach like the 40, 60 anniversary of the Lord of the Rings series, I feel like that's still also going to be up there with some of the big epics that we produced. It's a fantastic movie. If you get a chance to see it on the big screen, go see it on the big screen.
Can you explain to me how the ring works? If you're in contact with it, that's what makes you go to the dark side? Why don't you just put it in a box?
Once you possess
it's even,
it.
Oh, just possession?
Yeah, it's even if you have it.
Put it on like a
even like
donkey.
I guess you could. I don't know. I think it is very much if you're in the presence of it.
Ah.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of. Okay, I'll say The Lord of the Rings is it is made in such a fantastic way that all that stuff that comes up is stuff about what's going on with the Eagles. Couldn't we got the Eagles before? What if they just kind of put the ring on a cart? Like all of those type of ways you could go around and be like, what is this really? I think that when you're watching it, all of that stuff is not a part of your mind, which is kind of the earmarks of a very, very well-made movie that you are not. John Wick is one of them. You could tear that movie to pieces if you wanted to in terms of the plot. But it is so entertaining that when you're watching it, you're like, we don't need to care about that right now.
And one more, pardon my ignorance, it's Super Mario Bros, but it's Mario and Luigi. So what's their last name?
They don't have a last name.
I know, but if it's Mario Brothers,
yeah,
then they're just talking about Mario.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he clearly... Yeah. He might just be the better plumber.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on there.
That's like the name of the company?
That might be the name of the company. Yeah. Maybe they might not even be brothers.
Oh.
I didn't think of it. Maybe he's just an employee of his, and it's his name. His name is the name of the company.
You're getting way too deep.
Is there an
into
LLC
Mario
for Mario
Brothers?
Yeah, well, I've just read
There better be, because they're making a ton
Way
of
too
cash.
420 yesterday. It's like Mario Brothers.
Nate, what's going on this weekend?
Actually, same as what you were saying. This is the first weekend in a while where there is nothing going on, and I am looking forward to just hanging out, enjoying the weather. We might head down to the driving range at some point, but honestly, that's kind of the only thing on the list of what might be going on.
I didn't have you as a golfer, Nate. Do you play golf?
I don't play golf, but I mean, the driving range is a good time.
Okay. All right. All right. Going for the party. I get it. All right, bro. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Y'all too.
All right, man. There's
Bye.
Nathan Velasquez, the 5-Minute Critic, checking in here on this Friday, just like he does every week. Make sure and follow him on YouTube and all over social media, as you can catch up with him here weekly on Fridays.
Have y'all seen Keanu Reeves' girlfriend?
No.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, when I realized, pull her up. When I found out who she was, the first thought in my head was,
I'm like Joe Rogan. Pull her up, Stewie.
pull her up. I have a shot.
Wait, do you crush on Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
Sounds like
Oh,
it.
my God.
Oh my God, yes.
didn't know
Always. Yeah, we've had this discussion before.
Shane
on the
Falco?
show. I mean, so like John Wick, Keanu Reeves is like, whoo.
Really?
Whoo. Yeah.
Oh,
But
She
like
makes
younger
him-
Keanu Reeves
So
better.
what are you
but
saying? She makes him hotter?
Yeah.
Just wait until you see her.
Yeah.
Like really the first thought was like, I could get in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I got a shot here.
Okay.
He doesn't mention her a lot.
They're very private. I think they might be engaged, like recently engaged. They're very
Oh,
private.
so that's what makes you want him more.
He's older than her.
Why
just
is this
before you
news
pull
to
this
me?
up,
I didn't
like,
know your Keanu Reeves obsession.
Well,
Stan.
I'm sorry. I had no
That's
idea.
okay. You don't have to apologize for it.
He is
but
attractive.
He's
Keanu
very
Reeves.
attractive.
She is.
He's very sexy.
She's old.
But she's younger than him. I think she's like 50
wow.
and he's like 54. Put it up there, Stu, so the people can see.
Wow.
Get it up there. Yeah, right? Is this what you expected?
No.
Right? Is everyone shocked?
No, it's not shocking to me because of
'Cause he's
Keanu's.
old.
No, it's not that. It's Keanu's demeanor. He's not in it for looks. He's in
not.
it for love.
He is. You're
and
right.
they probably have a similar lifestyle.
Which
like,
is sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So
probably
why would you want to
very
break that
sweet
up?
together. I don't want to break.
Oh, Katie was
I'm
just
something I
love
want
the whole
to.
record.
I was about to
But
say,
like
she
there
just
might
said
not be a choice. I might have to. At some
Yeah,
point.
you trying to save him? Y'all would look too similar. It would be weird.
Really? You think so?
Just the long dark hair, then standing next to each
It says
other.
they've been together for a while.
They have. They're very private. You know, he's very private. What do you ever hear about Keanu Reeves, like gossip-wise? Nothing.
No,
which is so cool.
He's so private that the most recent thing I've seen about Keanu that wasn't about a movie is him eating a sandwich on a park bench.
Yes.
And somebody caught him in public, and he
Right.
was just like
trying
chowing
to
down,
enjoy his
like
sandwich.
just chilling,
Like,
with
damn,
the
man.
pigeons.
I mean, really, he's so private that he really kind of is the example of if you want to be, you can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Kawhi Leonard.
Remember when people hated him? Like, they thought he was a terrible actor, and
Well-
like they just railed on him for years and years. It was after like Bill and Ted and all that
I
stuff.
always thought Keanu Reeves was a good actor.
I have too,
I
but
don't
there
think
was
he's
a
a good
time
actor.
period. Really?
I think he plays the same person.
Yeah, that's just who he is. Like,
Oh.
I don't think there's not much depth to his character.
He's
You
very
think
dark,
like Bill
like
and Ted
always.
is like John Wick?
I think he's the same person essentially in terms of the amount of lines he delivers, and I guess you could change to say that he's affable in Bill and Ted, and then after that, like he just doesn't say a lot.
So what about Hardball?
What about Point
Hardball
Break?
is probably his best acting
You
job.
don't like Point Break?
Point Break is awesome.
Come on.
But that's okay. That's The Matrix or
And The
John
Matrix,
Wick.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't do a whole lot. It's just very action star.
Yeah.
Footsteps Falco.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. Until he came out the tunnel for the second half.
That's right.
Really
He's
guard,
ready.
I'd like to
protect
meet
our
Keanu.
quarterback.
They flipped
Sounds like it.
I would love to meet. Yeah, see, don't get it wrong. I would love to meet
Wouldn't
Keanu.
he be really cool to talk to?
I feel like he is very interesting. That's what
No
makes
doubt.
that's
Yeah.
what upsets me.
Why does it upset you?
I'd like to get more. I need to peel back the onion.
I know. I think that's why I'm attracted to
get more
him because he's very mysterious.
He stole the red pill from the Matrix. That's the only thing he's ever taken off a set. He has it in his house.
Do they live in New York?
I don't know.
Yes. At least the sandwich picture is in New York.
Sandwich picture.
That's all I know about Keanu.
It's shocking, right? Now
It
that you
is.
know this,
It
like
is.
it's weird.
All right, have a great weekend. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you closing your week out with us. Hopefully, we're talking about LSU taking 2 of 3 from the Rebels over the weekend.
I thought you were about to say, hopefully we're talking about LSU taking the spring game.
Yeah. And start off the season undefeated.
Here's to the Purple Squad. We'll be
Cool.
back
I
with
got-
you on Monday morning.
I
You
got
got a
the white
feature on
team.
it?
Yeah.